Hey guys, this is Dr. Ryan DeBell with the Movement Fix. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about my recent experience at the CrossFit Gymnastics certification course. This past weekend, I had the pleasure of taking that course at CrossFit Advantage with our main instructor was Sean Lind. Now, there's a guy who has a really cool gymnastics history and kind of story with how he got into gymnastics. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because if you ever take the course and he's your instructor, I think it'll kind of ruin the surprise for you. What I am going to tell you about are the skills that we learned, the movements that we learned, the things I really, really enjoyed and appreciated about the class, and then some ways that I think they might even be able to make the class even better. So, first things first, I'm going to tell you about the movements that we went over, and I didn't want to forget them, so I wrote them down in this fish book. So I wouldn't forget any in the video. The first thing that we went over, and we spent about 2 hours here, was hollow rock and spinal positions in gymnastic movements. This is the kind of the base of all gymnastics moves, it seems like, so I think it was time well spent in the hollow rock. We also went over pull-ups, kipping pull-ups, strict pull-ups, and we didn't talk about butterfly pull-ups. For good reason, I think. You know, they should really be saved for competitions only. They shouldn't be used in training because they're probably not that good for you in the long run with lots and lots and lots of reps. We went over handstands, handstand push-ups, and all the progressions for that. Now, I recently wrote an article called the top 7 reasons, your neck is better without kipping handstand push-ups or something like that. And some people asked me, they said, well, what do we do instead of kipping handstand push-ups? What are the progressions? Take the gymnastics course, because they go over that, and these are gymnasts teaching you how they get people to that point. So they're going to be much better at instructing it than I am, because they've done this for years and years and years and years, specifically gymnastics. So take that course if you want to know some of those answers. I will be making a few videos to show some of the progressions, because I think they're really important to get the word out there. We also went over, skin the cats, and using skin the cats to start developing a front and back lever, which I thought was awesome, and I'm really, really excited to start working on my front and back levers, because those are really cool. And they develop phenomenal stabilization strength. We went over some ring work and developing upper body strength, stabilization on the rings, catching positions, things of that nature, leading into the muscle up and the kipping muscle up. And Sean showed us a couple cool little tricks that you can do with the muscle up, which I liked. We went over toes to bar. And I know some of you guys are going to wonder what I think about toes to bars, because I wrote a thing about, toes to bars in the low back. If you do toes to bars the way that CrossFit Gymnastics instructs them, which is slow and under control, I think they're fine. If you do toes to bars and flop your legs up there and you have no control and you're doing hundreds for time, I don't think it's a good movement. So, the movement is not the problem. The problem is how people are doing it. Now, you should be able to move your spine through a full range of motion under control. And I think, the strict toes to bar training, control and strength is a way to do that. I don't think you should do high volumes of it. And I don't think they suggested that. I think the application of using a movement like that for spinal control and throwing it into a workout for time is a misapplication. And they didn't say that, but they taught it strict, and I like that. They taught it for control, and that's good. We went over some parallel work and planches. I think planche, not planche, but planche. I really enjoyed that, so that was at the end of the day. We're all tired, but it was still extremely valuable information. And I think, those are the high points or the main movements that we went through. I might have missed one or two. I apologize if I did, but those are the ones that I really learned the most about. Now, let me tell you a little about the course itself and what I liked. There were four instructors, about 40 participants, so 10 to 1, and that was fine. I never felt like we didn't have enough instructors. I never felt like it was overwhelming or I couldn't get my questions answered, and I asked a lot of questions. So that was good. So instructor to attendee ratio was good. It was nice working at a cert like this, because most everybody there has a CrossFit Level 1 cert and they're a coach. So you're working with other really competent individuals. So you're not, nobody's like really holding the group back or anything like that. I think that they really did a great job instructing and guiding us through how to spot athletes during the movements, and the importance of the safety of the athletes, the importance of how well we control the movements. And I think CrossFit Gymnastics is really at the forefront and the bleeding edge of this, in terms of CrossFit, talking about how to control the movements and the importance of quality over quantity. I think that bleeds over from the gymnastics world, that they are judged on how good they look. And if you have crappy technique, you're going to look like crap. So they teach perfect technique and how you really, if you can't do something perfectly, you need to scale it back and then progress to the higher level movement. And how we're always trying to move forward with perfect movement. I really appreciated that. They did talk about the neck quite a bit in handstand push-ups and how we need to have safety in terms of what we allow people to do, not crashing down onto their heads, how to avoid that and how to spot that. I really like that. One last thing I really, really thought was great was talking about programming and how to program these movements, and how a lot of programming for training is not programming for a competition, because in a competition you'll do things that put your body at more risk. In training, you shouldn't do that. In training, you should be working on skill development. And they talked a lot about how WODs specifically can be used for skill development, and not always done for time, but for quality and for developing strength and skill. And I think that we're going to see things move even more in that direction. Now, one or two ways I think they can make the course even better, and this is getting nitpicky because the course was absolutely fantastic. I think they could make it even better if they incorporated shoulder mobility and hip mobility screening and drills. Because we all know that gymnastics are extremely mobile individuals. I would have liked to see some examples of what they do or what their routines look like in terms of working on those positions, because a lot of us as adults going into gymnastics, we don't have that. And I would love to see how they do it and how much time they spend on movements or or mobilizations and stretches, and which ones they're exactly they're doing. So I think if they added those things in, it would be a phenomenal addition to the course. But overall, take the class. I mean, there's no doubt you should be taking this class. Check it out. Go to the CrossFit.com specialty seminars, see when the one's nearby you, and absolutely take it. It is worth every penny. So I hope you take it and enjoy it, and thanks for watching.